through a forest with plenty of wildlife. The Atbara River flows. Hello everyone, I call myself Zondagskind and I like to play Civilization 6. And this is the 17th challenge of the marathon with Amanitor of Nubia. Let's first look at her abilities. Kandake of Meroe, plus 20% production towards all districts, rising to plus 40% if there is a Nubian pyramid adjacent to the city center. Especially the 20% part is huge. Of course, you're building districts in nearly all of your games, and just having more production towards them is great, especially since, unless you're doing something funky, you have to produce them, you can't gold buy or faith buy them. The 40% in theory is even better. It does mean that you have to put something that has to go on desert next to your center, which means you're settling next to desert, which means the city itself is less productive. So I'm not sure how to weigh that, but at least the 20% part always counts, and so it's great. Taseti, plus 30% production towards ranged units, that's amazing. All ranged units gain plus 50% combat experience, really nice as well. Mines over strategic resources provide an extra production, that's great. You basically have half a pantheon god of craftsmen in your kit. And mines over bonus and luxury resources provide plus 2 gold. Luxury resources which have mines usually aren't the best. So this almost feels like making spawns playable, which usually wouldn't be that great. Especially silver, of course, tends to pop up in desert, which I guess you do spawn next to. So yeah, it's a little this isn't as good as the text would have you think, but it is nice if you do have those resources, of course. The Pitati Archer is an S tier unique unit. It replaces the Archer. It's stronger than the Archer and it has extra movement. To be precise, the regular Archer has 15 combat strength and 25 ranged. The Pitati has 17 melee and 30 ranged. And it has 3 movement rather than 2. So you can get up on a hill and then shoot. It is a little more expensive, so combined with the extra production you get towards ranged units, it might actually be a better idea. Usually you'd build 3 slingers and upgrade them into archers. With the Pitati, it might actually be a better idea to have 1 slinger boost archery and then build the other 2, basically. The Nubian Pyramid is the unique improvement. It unlocks with masonry and must be built on desert hills or desert floodplains. It gets you a flat 2 faith 2 food, which is on its own a good yield, but it is just enough to make a tile like that even close to workable. And it receives additional yields from adjacent district, which can be good, but you shouldn't be planning around it at least all the time. Maybe for one to go for the memes. It gets an extra food if adjacent to a city center, at least with 3 food, 2 faith, and if it's then on a desert hill, 1 production, I would work it. Like, that's fine, and then you get the extra production there. And, yeah, for all other districts that award adjacency bonuses, plus 1 of the appropriate yield. So you can get all yields on a desert tile, which is funky, but if you're planning around it, you're probably not getting the best districts. So this is, like, yeah, you're spawning next to desert, so it's nice to have the Nubian Pyramid. But there are definitely improvements which, despite giving fewer yields, give you better tiles net. Let's look at the achievements. The Rise of Meroe finished with 15 plus Nubian Pyramids, which, if you're going for a religion victory like I am, you do have to step on it. You'll have to build them in quite a high tempo. The 25th Dynasty, build a wonder that has to be built adjacent to a river. So not just any wonder adjacent to a river. You have to build ones that have that in their requirements. That's 8 of them. The Great Bath, Hanging Gardens, Taj Mahal, Hermitage, Orsakaz, Big Ben, Ruhr Valley, and Biosphere. So you have to build one of those 8, and automatically if you build one of those 8, they are next to a river. The White and the Blue Nile finish as the suzerain of at least 1 religious and scientific city-state. I Made You receive the Great Crown, finish as a monarchy or theocracy or with their legacy policy card. And skill issue finish with at least 3 ranged class units with at least 1 promotion. So looking at this spawn, lots of woods, lots of production here, which is nice, especially since you already have extra production towards districts. So getting down your first district should be easy money. I'm going for a religion victory, so that's going to be a holy site. You can definitely also start off with a campus here to do a science victory, for example. In any case, if you don't want to be spoiled on how I did this game and how I did the achievements, then look away now, because after the beep, we are going to look at my endgame save. So, here we are at the end of this game. I went for Goddess of the Hunt, as you might have expected from seeing the deer and the furs already. There's extra deer here and here as well, so that just worked very nicely in the early game. Got a religion. That religion is archery. With work ethic, I mean, that makes sense, right? With that +4 you start with. With mosques, general stuff, pilgrimage, holy order. This is basically the standard religion victory religion that I get. The other religions were Polish Catholicism, Portuguese Eastern Orthodoxy, and Indian Hinduism. Then, as far as other things go, went for Mahabodhi Temple, as I like to do in a religion game. Oh yeah, you boost astrology by getting to Sahal al-Baida. And I went for a Hermetic Order. Because I found Sahal al-Baida, I unlocked Hermetic Order. I don't think I had gotten a tribal village at that point. So I thought, you know what, I'll look. Because with the desert spawns like these, you usually have decent ley lines. And basically, I had decent ley lines. And for variety's sake, I thought I'd give Religious Hermetic Order a try. This army you see has been fighting Poland for a while, honestly without much success. I did it mostly to get the experience on the archers that I wanted. And I did try to go for Gdańsk, but at some point with like Man-at-Arms, I was walking around and she got her winged hussars, Jadwiga. So at that point it was over. And Fez was really instrumental in getting to one of the achievements, which we will get to in a minute. But other than that, yeah, for Hermetic Order, I didn't get to the Alchemical Society until really late. So I can't say that this is the optimal play, but it was fun to do Hermetic for once. Hagia Sophia, of course, good in one of these, Temple of Artemis. And I think this is my highest yield Nubian Pyramid. Oh, no, actually this one is my highest yield Nubian Pyramid. The proselytizers and stuff were running around. I had orators, translators. I didn't suzerain Yerevan. Yerevan is not in this game, so it's not as much of an easy mode as usual. But still, 153, and I had to delay actually a couple turns. Could have been a sub 150. Had to delay a couple turns for one of the achievements. So let's look at those. The Rise of Meroe finished with 15 plus Nubian pyramids. I believe was 16. 16 indeed, and like I said, this one is the one with highest yield. The 25th dynasty, build a wonder that has to be adjacent to river. So I missed out on Great Bath. Great Bath wasn't even really buildable on this spawn, and Hanging Gardens went before I even really tried for it. So I had to go for Big Ben, and thankfully Fez helped me out a lot there. Basically, most of my conversions were done with the benefit of Fez. And so what you see is that we're now taking towards industrialization on the tech tree. So that's the industrial era, while we're still dealing with only just the start of the industrial era on the civics tree, despite actually having a higher culture yield. Because in case you didn't know, and you've been thinking, what is he even talking about? You get 20 science per population of a city if you convert it for the first time with a religious unit if you're the Suzerain of Fez. But so yeah, so Fez really helped getting towards economics and being able to build Big Ben, which, if I remember correctly, I did with the help of Filippo Brunelleschi. Used him on that. And basically after I did that, I could actually finish the game, because I was waiting with my last apostle near Porto for a while. Like, these were already waiting for a bit to do those last conversions. Then, the White and the Blue Nile finish as the suzerain of at least one religious and at least one scientific city-state. Well, I've effectively been bamboozled in the last couple of turns, because I am the suzerain of Armagh and Nazca, but I'm not the suzerain anymore of Fez. But that's the point where I decided, okay, I already delayed to get Big Ben. I'm not also going to delay to regain suzerainty of Fez. Just take my word for it that if I get to when I get to colonialism, I would slot those two into Fez, and so if you really want to be specific about it, you could say that instead of a turn 152 religion victory, it's a 155, because I would have to wait 3 turns, and then it does count back. It takes the last turn you actually played out as the victory timer. But I felt like I wasn't going to delay my game even more just to get that suzerainty back. I consider that one done. I made you receive the Great Crown, finish as a monarchy or theocracy or with their legacy policy card. I am currently still in a theocracy, which makes sense in a religion game to just be a theocracy all the way through. And so if you do want to do a science game, you could do, for example, a diplomacy game, and it would make sense to use the monarchic legacy card for the extra diplomatic favor. You could do a science win, and then I guess you're going to go for the theocratic legacy card. And with the with a culture victory, in theory, it could make sense as well to stay a theocracy, and or to keep in the legacy card there. But anyway, skill issue: finish with at least 3 range class units with at least 1 promotion. Well, I have this one with 2 promotions. I have this one with 3, this one with 2, this one with 3, 4 with multiple promotions, and getting at least 1 on 3 of them should be doable. So yeah, so that's how I did this challenge. Did this one off camera, and you can try this one yourself. The turn 1 save is in the Discord when this video is live. In any case, if you liked that I did this religion victory with Sahal al-Baida assisted Petras, then do please leave a like. If you hate Petra with all of your might, then please leave a comment. In any case, you can subscribe and ding the bell so you know when the next episode goes live, and we will see you then. Bye bye.